Alright, Schlockmeister fans. When I find myself in times of trouble, Mother Mary comes to me, speaking words of wisdom, let it be. It's Paul and Ringo there. George has a new song he's presenting. Might be mine. Like everybody else, I guess, the Beatles drive their cars and just go to work. You can almost read George's mind saying, "Isn't it so cute? Ringo wrote a song." Billy Preston stopped by to play keyboards.
Going out to the blue sky. I don't care, it's been not gonna be wild. Doesn't mind this, you know.
A bored John listens to Paul's ideas.
No TV shows, no audience. But I mean, it seems like when we came back from Hamburg and did Leicester du Montfort Hall.
The film ends with a famous rooftop concert, the last time they ever played together publicly.
Where's the best way out the way? Over here, actually.
And John forgets the words. The local bobbies respond to the noise and the complaints.
Thanks, Mo.
I'd like to say thank you on behalf of the group and ourselves, and I hope we pass the audition.
We gotta get together.
All right, let's talk about Let It Be. This is a movie that I originally rented and recorded, copied from a video store in Manitowoc, Wisconsin. It was called City News and Video. They were like the first video store in town. They were there forever and ever and ever, although they're not there anymore. But they had this movie there. The only place I've ever seen, ever. All my travels in video stores back in the 80s and 90s and stuff, this is the only store that ever carried Let It Be. It was released by Magnetic Home Video like around 1979, 1980, something like that. And then they went out of business, and it's a very rare sought-after movie. Actually, a lot of stuff by Magnetic Home Video is sought after. Anyway, I was a big Beatles fan, so of course I had to get Let It Be, and I knew the one place that had it. So, interestingly enough, when I rented the movie, the tape actually broke at the very beginning. The spool broke from Let It Be, and I was so crushed and disappointed because I was a huge fan. I wanted to see this movie. I knew there was no way else I was ever going to have a chance to see it. So I actually took the tape apart. I tried to, because there was like labels on the side that, if you rip it, you'll pay for it, blah, 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 that sort of thing. So I carefully kind of separated it and somehow got a piece of Scotch tape in there and managed to get it on the reel and start it up again, and I was able to record. I was very pleased with myself. Years later, when I re-rented this movie to copy it onto an SP speed tape, I opened it up. I actually knew the guy who worked at the video store at that time. And I opened it up and looked at the tape, and I could still see my piece of Scotch tape on there, so it held all those years. I was very impressed with myself. So anyway, the movie itself was filmed in 1969 in January, and it's famously known for witnessing. The film kind of showed you the breakup of the Beatles. They were miserable at this time they were filming this movie. They weren't getting along, and they were just always fighting, and it was an unpleasant experience for the boys. There's even a scene in this movie. One time, John kind of yells at Paul. He says, "You don't have to bitch about it." And then, of course, the famous scene which I showed you there, where George is kind of sniping at Paul, and he's like, "Well, whatever it is that will please you, I'll do it." It's kind of funny. It's because of things like that, the reason why this has not been released on DVD or Blu-ray ever. Apparently, Paul is not happy with the way he was portrayed, and of course, he says it's accurate. He says, I look the worst in it, but apparently he and Ringo both kind of agreed that they shouldn't release this because it might destroy their brand. Whatever, right? I mean, come on. There's bootlegs of this thing floating around. The clips are available on YouTube. I mean, everybody knows what's in it. Just release it. It's magical when these guys are playing. It's kind of fun watching this. There's some scenes in this movie where you can see, I mean, obviously we know that they were miserable at the time, but when they stop their bitching and actually start playing music and just playing and jamming, they are having fun. And you can see big smiles on all their faces. They're having a great time. And that was kind of fun to see because obviously we know they weren't going well. Billy Preston shows up. He played keyboards on Get Back, and I think Let It Be in The Long and Winding Road. Actually, maybe not The Long and Winding Road, but he played keyboards on a few tracks at the time. He shows up, and of course the famous rooftop concert at the end, which was filmed in January of 1969, the last time they ever performed live for an audience, kind of. It was an audience of people down below on the streets. They played 6 songs up there, I think Get Back twice, One After 909, I've Got a Feeling, Don't Bring Me Down, and one more that I can't remember at the time, but at this moment. But anyway, it's a fascinating film. If you are a fan of the Beatles, you obviously are going to love this. Some good news, though. Since the last time I reviewed this on my old channel, it's been announced that they are actually going to re-release this movie, I think in 2020, in time for the 50th anniversary of the film. It's basically going to be like a new movie, kind of like George Lucas with the special versions of the Star Wars trilogy that he did back in 1997. They're going to make a new Let It Be. Apparently there's just like 150 hours of footage that they filmed, most of which has never been seen. And they're going to put that together and make a new Let It Be, but not to worry, they're also going to release the original Let It Be too. I'm guessing when it comes out on DVD and Blu-ray, it'll probably be some sort of box set with the new version and the old version, whatever. So allegedly, apparently, this movie is going to finally see its release on Blu-ray and DVD, so all of us who have these bootlegs can finally dump them and get rid of them, right? Although this is an interesting bootleg. I bought this from somebody online. There's a ton of extras on here. Again, if you look on YouTube, there's a ton of extras or a ton of scenes that aren't in the movie that show. I don't know where these clips come from, how these people get a hold of these things, but it's kind of cool. So anyway, this is Let It Be. If you search hard enough on the internet, you can find people who are selling this. It's probably even available on YouTube here and there. eBay here and there with people selling the bootlegs as well. Hasn't been officially released yet, but it is coming. Until then, we'll buy our bootlegs. So again, I don't feel guilty buying a bootleg DVD because when it comes out, an official version, I'm going to buy that too because I am a fan. So anyway, it's called Let It Be. I'm sure Beatles fans out there are interested and probably have seen this movie, so let me know what you think about it. Let me know what you think about the Beatles. Are they your favorite group like they are mine? This would be my desert island group if I had to take one group and listen to their songs forever on Trapped on a Desert Island. It would be the Beatles, just because I've just always been fascinated by their melodies. Their harmonies were fantastic, and just the styles of music they played from their early days, from I Want to Hold Your Hand all the way through Helter Skelter and Let It Be, just completely different. They evolved, and their music is timeless, and it still stands up. So anyway, it's the Beatles. Let It Be. Let me know what you think about it. Leave some comments down below. We'll talk about it. So watch this movie. Bye.